Israel Defense Forces says it struck Hamas's intelligence headquarters Monday and destroyed more than 70 terror targets in Gaza after it says 300 rockets were launched at Israel from Gaza from Sunday into Monday. So what led to this increasing violence between Israel and Gaza? Caitlin Baldwin reports it could be a secret Israeli operation in Gaza.
A wave of fighting in the Gaza Strip on Sunday left 1 Israeli soldier and 7 Palestinians dead. It's not entirely clear what happened. The violence came days after Israel and Hamas reportedly struck an unofficial agreement to allow the flow of cash and fuel into Gaza. Hamas told media outlets that Israeli undercover forces led a mission into the Gaza Strip, targeting and fatally shooting a Hamas commander. Security forces reportedly used a civilian car to complete that raid and covered that vehicle's escape back into Israel with airstrikes. The Israel Defense Forces said in a series of tweets and a statement that it conducted a high-importance operation for Israeli security, during which exchanges of gunfire erupted, killing 1 Israeli soldier and leaving another injured. Ground operations in the Gaza Strip are rare. It isn't immediately clear if the operations discussed by Hamas and the Israel Defense Forces are the same. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu cut a trip to Paris short after hearing of the situation in the Gaza Strip and headed back to Israel Sunday night. And a note about this story, in a previous version we misstated Israel Defense Forces. You just heard the updated story.
A new flare-up of violence between Israel and Gaza. The two have been exchanging rocket fire since Sunday, when Israeli forces infiltrated the Gaza Strip. Gaza's health ministry said 3 Palestinians were killed in Israeli airstrikes on Monday, which were launched in response to hundreds of rockets fired from Gaza. The latest bloodshed threatens to derail international efforts to end months of unrest. Tatiana Ryder has the story.
Smoke from rocket fire billowed over Israel and Gaza on Monday afternoon. The exchange of missiles between Hamas and Israeli military forces killed several Palestinians and gravely wounded an Israeli citizen. Israel says it intercepted most of hundreds of rockets launched from Palestine and targeted dozens of Hamas military sites in retaliation. The violence was prompted by an Israeli Special Forces covert operation on Sunday that killed 7 Palestinian militants.
The Zionist occupation was met by men who are heroes and who are capable of stopping them. This is an open battle between us and the Zionist enemy. Only Israel is responsible for this terrible crime and its consequences.
Israel says the covert operation was intended to gather intelligence and did not go as planned. According to Hamas, undercover forces in a civilian vehicle fatally shot a Hamas commander in the east of Khan Yunis, leading to clashes. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu cut short a trip to Paris to rush back home as tensions rose. In a tweet, he praised an Israeli officer also killed in the clashes. The fresh wave of violence threatens to derail efforts to restore dialogue, as Egypt, Qatar, and the United Nations try to broker a ceasefire.
France 24's Jerusalem correspondent Iris Mackler tells us more on what we can expect next.
We are seeing Israeli airstrikes tonight. Some 60 targets have been struck. Hamas military outposts, tunnels, Hamas TV. And Israel, I think, with the strength of what we have seen, we are going to see more airstrikes tonight. There has been an involvement of the Egyptian mediator, of the United Nations, trying to put a brake on this. And the question really, it's not clear what is ahead. Are they going to pull back, as they have been doing? This is something that's been going on in waves for the past 7 months. And we saw something very similar about a month ago. Will they pull back? Or is Israel going to take this more seriously because the number of rockets is higher and because the rhetoric is higher? I don't recall such a large rocket fire in such a short time from the Gaza Strip into Israel, and I don't recall such rhetoric on both sides. So I'm a little wary of what's going to be ahead in the hours and days and whether the negotiators can pull both parties back from this brink.